going forward, how you will contemplate whether you'll come back or not?
I haven't put a lot of thought into it, so we'll just take it day by day and see where we're at.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Guys, I'm gonna be honest. I did not expect this to be the result of the divisional games that happened today. I mean, I really couldn't predict the Titans versus the Bengals. I thought that could go either way. Same with the Bills versus the Chiefs, but I honestly thought the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would beat the Los Angeles Rams, even though secondarily I root for the Rams when my Cowboys inevitably fail me. And I really didn't expect the San Francisco 49ers, a warm weather team, to beat the Green Bay Packers despite their history of beating Aaron Rodgers throughout his career. And what's really interesting is I did anticipate having to cover potential Aaron Rodgers either retiring or switching teams drama, which I'm very prepared for. I'm like laser focused. I have all of Rob Demovsky's notifications on, along with Schefter and Rappaport. I'm going to be on that for you guys. But what I didn't anticipate is having to do the same exact thing for Tom Brady. Before we talk about potential Tom Brady retirement, let's go through this incredible NFC divisional matchup between the Buccaneers versus the Rams, because it was by far my favorite game of this past weekend. And it really gave us some subtle tones of the Super Bowl that featured the Atlanta Falcons and the New England Patriots when Tom Brady came back 28-3. In the very beginning, the Los Angeles Rams were absolutely dominant. I mean, when I was watching this game, I was kind of thinking that Tom Brady was in a similar situation that Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl last year. Although I think Patrick Mahomes' situation was a little bit more extreme. He had 3 of his offensive linemen injured, but in this instance, Tom Brady's all-pro right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, was not playing, which is a very big deal when you're going up against the likes of Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and Von Miller. And I don't think that's getting talked about enough, because throughout this entire game, the combination of the Rams pass rush was able to pressure Tom Brady 17 times. This was the most pressures Brady has faced in a game this season, with Von Miller finishing with a team-high 9 quarterback pressures. And that was honestly the story of the beginning of the game. It was so difficult for Tom Brady to find Mike Evans. It was very difficult for Leonard Fournette to get going. And as a matter of fact, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers weren't able to get going until literally the end of the third quarter, which is when they scored their first touchdown. And this was due to a myriad of Los Angeles Rams mistakes. I mean, the first touchdown for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers came as a result of a Cooper Kupp fumble towards the end of the third quarter. Once they would score the touchdown, the Los Angeles Rams would then again turn the ball over in one of the most bizarre turnovers I've seen, with the center of the Los Angeles Rams snapping the football way too far behind Matthew Stafford, which resulted in an instant turnover when the Rams were up 27-13. And it seemed like the dominance that the Rams showed in the first half all of a sudden was completely gone. I mean, this game literally opened with Matthew Stafford finding Cooper Kupp for a 70-yard touchdown. And now you are in this situation where we're watching a repeat of the Super Bowl 6 years ago. Before you know it, Tom Brady is finding Mike Evans, who absolutely burns Jalen Ramsey, who was on an island with him. Then the Rams would get the football back, and this happens. Cam Akers fumbles it for the second time this game. With the first time being near the goal line, this was Cam Akers' second fumble of the game, which was really funny because Chris Collinsworth was saying over and over again that Sean McVay's doing the right thing by riding with Cam Akers and making sure that he keeps his confidence as high as possible, which I'm going to give credit to Cam Akers, man. This man literally came off of a ruptured Achilles. I think he recovered in something like 6 to 7 months, which is absolutely insane. So I'm going to get off of his back because I have tremendous respect for this man. But man, it just seems like as time went on, the Buccaneers were getting more and more momentum and the Rams were getting less and less of it. And before you know it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to march down the field once again as a result of this Cam Akers fumble and tie the game at 27. Then we finally saw a Matthew Stafford playoff moment, which still sounds very weird to say, but this man had a signature playoff moment where he found Cooper Kupp near the 10-yard line to put Matt Gay in a situation to kick the game-winning field goal and end the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season. The Rams are very, very lucky that they had this much room for error, because turning the ball over 4 times is not Super Bowl winning football, and I'm sure that's a point of emphasis that the Rams are going to have this year. But the positives are that this is one of the most suffocating defenses in the entire NFL, and by far one of the most complete teams in the NFL. It's so funny that the NFC Championship is going to be between 2 NFC West teams. It's even funnier that the top top team in the NFC West got eliminated in the wild card round. It's the NFL playoffs, man. Again, I've said this in every video. Probably my favorite part about the NFL playoffs is that anything could happen. But now that the game's over, first of all, I want to give honorable mentions to Sean Murphy-Bunting and Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh literally has aged like a fine wine in the NFL. You don't typically see 13-year-old defensive tackles in the NFL succeed the way Ndamukong Suh does. I have tremendous respect for the way he plays on the field. He forced multiple fumbles and came up with very big plays that put the Buccaneers into a situation to win. And honestly, I also have even more respect for him because he's a really remarkable investor. But now the question remains, what's going to happen with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Because Ian Rappaport came and dropped a bombshell on us in the beginning of the day. And that's that in previous years, it was a foregone conclusion that Tom Brady will return to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We even have Bruce Arians so far coming back and immediately saying that he is definitely going to come back next year. However, Tom Brady, when he was asked, sang a little bit of a different tune. Check this out.
Hey Tom, how do you process going forward, how you will contemplate whether you'll come back or not?
I haven't put a lot of thought into it, so we'll just take it day by day and see where we're at. I was thinking about winning. That's kind of my mentality always, to go out there and try to win, give my team the best chance to win.
What will be the biggest factor for you in making that decision going forward?
Truthfully, guys, I'm thinking about this game, and I'm not thinking about anything past 5 minutes from now.
Look, man, this is a very difficult situation to read. If the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a Super Bowl this year, I could definitely see Tom Brady saying, okay, I have nothing left to prove. I got the competitive itch out of my system. I've won 8 Super Bowls. I've won more Super Bowls than any team in NFL history. I've played longer than any other quarterback. And as a result, I feel like he could walk away from the game if he won another Super Bowl this year, because he may have felt like there was nothing left to prove. But in this instance, he lost in the divisional round and his team was extremely close to winning. And here's the thing, if Tom Brady does retire, what did the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do from here? Do they try to lure Aaron Rodgers to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so he could win some Super Bowls? How would Aaron Rodgers feel about that, by the way? Could you just imagine, like, yeah, Tom Brady retired now, you weren't really able to beat him while he was here, but you could come over and take over his old team and hey, you might have success. I'm just trying to imagine Aaron Rodgers throwing passes to Rob Gronkowski and just the comparisons football fans would be making down the line. But again, that's such an unlikely scenario in my head. What do the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do if Tom Brady leaves? Do they have a contingency plan in place? You've heard Bruce Arians say a couple of times that he would love to go to war with Blaine Gabbert. But come on, man, Blaine Gabbert isn't taking this team to a Super Bowl. And this team is way too competitive and way too loaded to not compete for a Super Bowl. There's a lot of questions the Buccaneers have to answer this offseason. A lot of their contracts were incentive-based contracts. A lot of those players were heavily sought after last year. I mean, if you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers impending free agents, it's going to be very interesting. They currently have Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin had an ACL tear, so we don't really know what's going to happen with him, but he's technically a free agent. You have Jason Pierre-Paul and Ndamukong Suh that are also free agents, although they are a little bit older, so you don't know how much they're going to get. You have Rob Gronkowski, who's going to be 33 next year. You have Leonard Fournette, who probably could get one last good contract. You have OJ Howard, Ronald Jones. All of these players are set to be free agents next season. And if Tom Brady retires, then you could imagine that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could see a decent amount of these players leave. Unless if, of course, they get another big fish to take over for Tom Brady. Now, obviously, Aaron Rodgers coming to the Buccaneers if Tom Brady retires is just a fairy tale scenario that I just thought was really funny. The Indianapolis Colts, who have a remarkable defense, a really good offense, and a brilliant offensive mind in Frank Reich, in addition to one of the most dominant running backs we've seen in a while in Jonathan Taylor. The Denver Broncos are a similar story, very dominant defense, fairly solid up-and-coming offense with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Javonte Williams, and Melvin Gordon are very solid running backs. There is a lot of options for where Aaron Rodgers could go, and there's a lot of things that could happen this offseason, so let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think Tom Brady will retire this offseason? We're going to keep an eye on it, man. Apparently, he's going to make his decision within the next month or so, according to Ian Rappaport. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.